Did it again. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Orville Rewatch podcast. This is season 2, episode 4. Nothing left on Earth excepting fishes, which absolutely drives me nuts, that saying. But anyway, I know why it's there. But either way, we have a grand show tonight. We are going to be reviewing that episode. And of course, I couldn't do that alone. And of course, I have to have the best of the podcast community involved, which of course starts our list off with Mr. Dave Mater.
Glad to be with you, Jody, to talk about another episode of the Orville. And these, even though we're a bunch of soulless humans to these krill.
Well, you know, I was originally going to introduce somebody with soulless humans, but I guess you can have it.
Okay, I'll be the soulless one.
You can be the soulless one today. All right. And of course, who could forget the man who is always better when he's using contractions? That's, of course, is Mr. Kevin Millard.
Hi. I got nothing. That was good. I like it.
All right, great. That's actually my goal, is just to get you guys not to talk after I give you your intro.
Just to leave us speechless, Jody.
Just leave you speechless. And of course, the best has been saved for last. This is the man who would not fail the command. And that, of course, is Mr. Adam Woodward.
I would not fail the command. I've got to say that I don't even know how he's a pilot. I don't.
Yeah,
he's the best pilot in the fleet.
But man, it doesn't take much.
Leaves a lot to be desired,
for sure. But anyway, as I said, we are reviewing Nothing Left on Earth Excepting Fishes, which is a popular line from a movie, which is The King and I. Well, it was also a book and a play, I believe, as well, and a whole bunch of stuff. Anyway, Sam, you do not get an intro because you do not participate on video.
And you just gave him an intro.
And well, technically, damn it, I've been foiled by him. All right, anyway,
we did get you there, Jody.
He did get. He got me.
It's a big week for Sam.
Is it a big week? Why is it a big week?
There's something to do with Survivor because we don't want to hear about it.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
They're saying it's because his girl crush is the HOH this week in Big Brother. That's why.
Oh,
okay.
I was just connecting the dots there.
That sounds completely non-relevant to this podcast. All right. Anyway, Mind Tricks by Sam. If only you could find a dictionary, my friend, you'd be great. All right. Anyway, I'm such a jerk. Anyway, all right. Well, what did you guys think of this? I'm going to start with Dave for once. Let's start with Dave.
I liked it it was pretty good. I think that the ending, I have some reservations about, but generally I think that this episode works pretty well. I think that Talea as a villain is pretty complex, pretty, I don't know, she's obviously bad, but she's kind of got this side to her that, sometimes Captain Mercer is able to speak to. And then she just goes back into her sort of zealotry again. And so I don't know.
She seems almost like she's interested in studying him.
Yeah, there's it's clear that she's not completely evil, but she's pretty evil in the way she looks at things. So there's a chance that he can reach her sometimes, but on the other hand, you're kind of playing with fire here. Maybe this idea of extending the olive branch might be in not a worthwhile endeavor, I guess, knowing what comes down the line.
Fair enough. All right, Kevin, what are you saying?
About the same. I like it. I like the ending.
You like the ending?
Yeah, I do. I like that they leave it as you don't really know, is he letting her go for to create more harmony between two people, or is he letting her go because he still loves her?
Yeah.
Right. And I like that they leave it that way. The only thing I wish is that, and it's hard to do in a shortened season, but we'd had more time to get to know her, as the audience.
And because
be more invested in her.
Was before, which is what Lieutenant Tyler. Yeah, she with that we don't really get much back. Like there's nothing really at stake because like we've seen them for like watching a couple movies in this episode, and then I'm supposed to believe that he's like head over heels for this girl, that kind of thing. But
Well, it has been a few months at least, like because she would have come out in July, and this is around October of that same year. So it's been like 3 months.
Yeah, but we don't see that. That's kind of what Kevin is saying as well. Is that
Yeah, I wish we had gotten like
We
as
got
the
to see some
audience
more
had gotten more
interaction.
episodes with her. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's introduced in episode 1, and this is episode 4. So they could have left this, or they could have included her in those 3 episodes a bit more.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
all right? And the deciding vote on whether the episode at the end is bad or not. Mr. Adam.
I think this is the strongest of the 4 episodes for the season so far. I like. Okay, so you're right, Dave. I think that the character we just got sprung. We've known her. But we really got this relationship sprung on us on this episode. Like, we knew something was coming.
Yes. Right.
and I didn't know that we'd gone to canoodling from movie watching in that short little period. Like, I guess.
Wait. What is canoodling?
Sex.
Sex. Good to know.
You have to excuse him. He's married.
Well, no, that was the term he used.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Okay. Hey, Jade, you want a canoodle?
Yes.
I think the next time you decide you guys are in the mood, you should do that.
Okay.
I want to know the outcome though.
Canoodle.
Not the like details. I just want to know whether she was cool with that or not.
Chicken canoodle soup, we'll call it. No?
Ew. No.
Okay.
Don't do that.
Can I just come So they were watching The King and I,
Yes.
but clearly, as the evening evolves, they get into more stuff.
I guess. Well, they do say that. What is it? Whiskey and popcorn go well together, or something, or scotch and popcorn.
I don't think that's true.
I don't think that's true either, personally. But what can you do?
Not much of a Scotch guy, but
I am a very big scotch guy, and I still wouldn't eat that with popcorn. But anyway,
maybe pretzels.
to each his own. Well, I don't know, gentlemen. What do you think? Should we start getting into this, or
let's run through it.
Let's do it. All right, there we go. Okay, so we start off obviously with the Orville. I like to just make sure my screenshot software is working. That's why I always get a first pick. We see the 2 of them on the bridge. And at this point,
look bored.
Yeah, they're very bored. And then this jackass comes in. Can't remember his name, and I don't care. We'll call him.
Patrick Warburton, is the actor.
Yeah, the guy is awesome that plays him, but the character is terrible.
Yeah, and
but he's supposed to be. I think
he's supposed to be. The whole crew hates him. Borda says, he chews loudly while he eats it. And what was the other thing that there was?
He comes to the mess hall in sandals.
Yeah, in sandals.
That was
he
a good
says
joke.
it like it's the most disgusting thing ever.
Yeah, and like Bordas is the one saying it is like even funny.
Every time now I'm in a food court in a mall or something like that, I'm gonna look for people's sandals and I'll be like, wearing
socks and sandals, especially.
Oh, socks and sandals is the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think you should be penalized for that. But anyway, that's just
it's not.
But basically, Kelly's like, yeah, no, you could probably change, he's like, oh, I just came from whatchamacallit, whatever he was doing. I think he was exercising or something.
Yeah, he's like me. He likes to come from the runs right into these shows, and
but he is clearly nasty. And then Mercer's like, yeah, no, you don't have to change. It's fine. He's on the night shift. And then we find out that Mercer is going to be leaving in a second anyway. So that's probably the reason why he actually said it. And Kelly, I thought Kelly was going to give him hell for kind of superseding what she just said, but she didn't do that. So I don't know if that was.
She gave a look like that, like she
gave the look. So I'm wondering if there's a scene that was cut out because they just decided it wasn't worth the bother. But anyway, so she's like, yeah, I noticed, blah blah blah. You're looking pretty happy today. And, yeah, you're in a good mood. So she's already clearly figured out what's going on here. And then they get the information that they have to do a supply drop because they're the closest ship, as the tripe always is, right? The trope of that. So it's so they decide they're going to do that, and he's like, well, I'm gonna knock off blah 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 blah. And then we get him basically saying, we're supposed to be out here exploring, we're not supposed to be delivery service, blah blah blah. and all that. So anyway, and then she comes in. That's Lieutenant Tyler at the time. I think it's Lieutenant or Lieutenant Commander. I can't remember.
Lieutenant Janelle Tyler. Yep.
Janelle Tyler. There you go. See, I got one name out of all this right. So we'll see what's going on. But anyway, so she's like, yeah, no, all this stuff's done. But you can see how Mercer's already starting to look at her and stuff like that. And she's like, yeah, I'm totally on to him. I know what's going on. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna cut out early. Blah blah blah. And she's like, okay, that's fine. And then he takes off. And then the next scene you see is him and Lieutenant Tyler or Janelle, I guess, in watching a movie. And the two of them are cuddling. They're watching King and I.
And that's is that Yul Brynner?
That's Yul Brynner.
That is Yul Brynner, yeah. So classic movie. If you've never seen it, you should at least all see it once. I wouldn't say it's the best movie in the world, but it's up there. It's pretty decent. So anybody else on this panel have actually seen this movie?
No, I've never seen this movie.
Yeah, I've seen this movie.
Okay, you thought it was okay, right?
Yeah, it was a staple in our house growing up.
Oh, really?
Can you summarize it for me? What's it about?
Oh, okay. So there's another woman who it's sort of a Pygmalion almost type thing. Where anyway, remember the movie Anna and the King? Did you see that with Jodie Foster?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't see that.
It was a remake. Okay, so this is a musical.
Okay.
They
About a
sing
king?
a lot about a king, and then an English woman. They fall in love. Good enough?
Sure.
Good enough for me. As soon as you said musical, I was out.
Yeah.
It is a musical.
A king and a woman fall in
I
love.
wouldn't say it's a heavy musical though. There's a lot of dramatic scenes in between. But...
Yeah, but this is a musical. The remake with the Anne and the King was not a musical.
Oh, okay. So I probably would have enjoyed that one more than. But anyway,
1998.
Either way,
yeah.
we see again that Mercer's kind of into the classic stuff when it comes to, and he seems to like musicals a lot, which is interesting as well. So anyway, the two of them are making out. Blah blah blah.
It's Seth MacFarlane.
It's Seth
Yeah.
MacFarlane. Like, I think there's a lot of Seth MacFarlane in the Ed Mercer character in general.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, what is
Certainly.
the opening of Family Guy? Like, it's them doing like a version of Archie Bunker, and then it goes into a huge friggin' like Broadway show, right?
That's true. Yeah. I never thought of that.
And a lot of like these entertainment guys, they're just major theater nerds and whatever, right? Like,
Exactly.
Yeah, if you actually search Seth MacFarlane, he's got like all kinds of Christmas albums out. And...
Yeah.
I know
he's a
he has. I know he has albums. Yeah.
And
He's
and
in
the
a lot of
South Park
media.
guys as well. Like their movie's a musical, and
Well, they also produce musicals as well.
And I always find it funny that
They're kind of expensive.
a lot of people just hate musicals, but a lot of
I'm not a fan of musicals myself, but
a lot of these people like in the entertainment industry who you would think maybe are those type who wouldn't like musicals are actually huge musical people.
yeah.
So
Dave's
and
a
I like
closet
musicals.
musical person. Yeah.
I'm not closeted about it.
No, you're not. Okay.
No.
So anyway, nothing left on Earth excepting fishes, which is actually a line from The King and I. But anyway, so we see Mercer and Gordon in the mess hall, and they're talking about it, and he's like, "Yeah, no, I'm really into this girl." Blah blah blah. But originally, when she came on the ship, Gordon was trying to pursue her, so he's like, kind of, I guess, asking permission, or making sure he's okay with him dating her.
I think it's a little late to say I need your permission because he's in.
Well, and at this point, we're under the impression that they've already, what is it, noodling, canoodle. There you go, canoodling. That's our new thing, canoodling.
I'm gonna check the real definition for that now.
I don't think I want to.
Well, according to Sam, it's some sort of flirting or lying down in bed. So it might not even. Be full.
There you go.
Lying down in bed.
Well,
Okay.
Just lying.
seems like we got generally the idea. Anyway, but basically, Gordon's like, "Yeah, man, you go for it. I've never seen you so happy in a long time."
Okay, you want to know what it is? To engage in amorous embracing, caressing, and kissing. Pet, fondle, lovers canoodle in the park. Yes.
Oh, so it's not sex.
So it's like dry humping.
Yeah. Kiss and
Things
hold
you don't
each
want to
other
hear
in a
Dave
sexual
say.
way. I'm saying I think it's pretty close. Let's just go.
All right.
All
Pretty
right,
close to
let's
dry humping.
Let's get this train is derailing quick. We gotta get back.
No,
on
it's
track.
not. It's a part of the story here.
We're learning some beautiful things.
All right, so it
Jody,
turns
but-
out he's not doing the sex. He's doing the canoodling.
Right.
If two people are canoodling, they're kissing and holding each other a lot.
Well, dry humping.
Well, try-
While dry humping, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't
Right.
wait for you to talk to Jane about canoodling.
But this must be where, like, okay, well, I'll get to it at the end of the episode,
Alright.
actually. But yeah, so, but Gordon's the one who convinces Ed to go tell Kelly about this.
Yeah.
because
So anyway, he's like, I want to tell Kelly, and he's like, okay. So Kelly's got a visitor, which is the teacher.
I still hate his shirts.
I think it's funny that he answered the door.
Yeah. Why did he answer the door? It's her quarters.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Because he leaves and she stays, so it's obviously her quarters. I would assume. Unless he
Yeah.
just
Why did she
decided
feel
he
the
was
need
gonna
to
go
give
down.
him a big smooch in front of Ed, too? That's my other.
That wasn't that big of a smooch. It was just a
It was-
peck. Give me a break.
They're very demonstrative people.
All right.
But anyway. So he sits down, talks about how he's dating her, and she's like, yeah, I already knew you, dummy. Like, this isn't that hard to figure out.
If you know that, then how come you don't know she's a krill?
Well, nobody knows she's a krill yet.
Well, she knows everything.
She only knows 4 krill smiles.
Yeah. She knows 15 of his.
Oh yeah, she knows
smiles,
all of Ed's smiles, which is,
So
This
Ed
whole-
decides he's going to go on vacation for a bit with.
But just on
Janelle.
this whole conversation before with Kelly and Ed, where she, and she's talking about like she knows all of his smiles and all this stuff. I guess just to reinforce again that they might be dating other people, but they're really each other's true love, and they have to put this aside for dumb job related reasons, basically.
I don't know if I got that impression, but
I
I got the
would
impression
actually
of they're very
question
good
Why
friends.
is he? Yeah, but why is this is a Star Trek thing as well? Like, why is the captain dating another crew member?
Well, is there like there's one thing, yeah, to be married, like a captain and a first officer dating, but then yeah, like a subordinate. But we saw Picard did it, in TNG.
Yeah, but
That's true.
he ended the relationship because he saw what could happen.
Yes.
And the question is, when we get to the end of this, is like, did he make the decision for the good of the Krill union?
well, and I think that's what they're
relationship?
trying to portray.
But
it
later on, Picard got into relationships with Beverly Crusher, who was also a crew member, if you recall.
but probably not at the time.
Yeah, but
It
I don't
sounds like he
remember.
was.
Like, he didn't have to send her into danger. Like the cat, she never really.
Well, she went on that that mission to the Cardassian thing with Worf and him, and they almost got captured there. When he got to
I don't think
Dornites
they were in the high part of the relationship of that.
All right, if anybody's in the live chat, let's get a definitive answer on that.
No, but
I wanna
like
know what they
what
think.
we just learned in like Star Trek Picard was that Picard and Beverly did date on the Enterprise E off and on for a bunch of years.
Oh, that's true. They
After
did say
Picard
that.
broke
Yeah.
up with Neela for being a crew member, right? And Beverly
Yes.
Crusher, more as much of a crew member,
But he knew
more.
Beverly Crusher before he was her captain, I guess. I don't know. Whatever.
Sure, but like anyway,
Let's move on.
my point is that
Oh.
Picard got over that issue of dating a crew member, obviously.
Yeah, but I think that Picard is a much more mature guy than than Captain Ed Mercer.
Well, fine.
Oh,
but
absolutely. Yeah.
but
For
I just
sure.
I don't think it's necessarily a faux pas for the captain to date a subordinate.
Okay.
That's all. I think that there's room for both in this
As
world.
long as they disclose it to HR, it's fine. Nobody at Starfleet HR cares. Let's be honest. I don't know.
Probably not.
Anyway, they decide they're going to take a shuttle and they're going to go on vacay because he's got some shore leave available. So Kelly decides that she's going to take the ship on this shipment run thing.
There's no way I would ever take a shuttle by myself anywhere in Star Trek or in the Orville, because how often do they crash on a
All the
planet,
time.
get abducted? That's.
I think if you took the statistics on how many times a shuttle has left a ship and how many times they crash land on a planet, I'm guessing it's at least 70%.
or something
Well,
bad happens,
Or
like
something,
Voyager.
or
Voyager
they
had
get
so many of
sucked
these
up by somebody, or they they do well. This one didn't crash, mind you, but
But
it
it goes
still got
awry.
the tractor beam and goes awry and all that. So, but anyway, they start looking at the nebula, and then all of a sudden on the scanners is 3 ships. They don't know who it is yet, and then it starts getting into they decide they're going to use their cloak, which is something that this universe has lots of. Every ship can cloak, apparently.
Right.
With the exception of the
Or
bad guys. They don't
At
have
least the Union ships can.
all the Union ships can, yeah. So anyway, so then we see these krill ships. These are like the krill fighters, which instantly should tell you that there's a big ship nearby,
Right.
because these things are not long range fighters. These are
Because
these
the
are short
Cylon Raiders are right here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They look like Raiders a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so they end up turning back, and they figure out that they've now turned back and they're coming back at them. And sure enough, the reason why is because they're venting plasma, which I guess is going to get stuck to the hull of the shuttle. So obviously they already knew. So she must have told them that, we're actually in the shuttle, do this. We didn't actually see her do that, but we pretty much.
It's implied that happens. Yeah.
I really like how they animated this. I thought they did a really good job of it. Again, the CG in this show is really, really good for the most part. Mind you, we never see any external building shots with people walking by that are fake. So,
like an Enterprise.
Yeah, like an Enterprise, there was tons of battles. Yeah, some of the ship battles were great, but those on the planet or going to conferences ones where they have like extras kicking around. Yeah, no.
Yeah, you were like, "What's your problem, Dave? It's the 2000s. They didn't invent it yet.
They didn't know it better.
They didn't know better yet."
Anyway, I got a really nice shot of that ship. I thought that was pretty cool. But anyway, I like the designs of the ships in this show as well. With the exception of the shuttle, I think the shuttle looks like a big butt plug or something. But anyway, that's a whole different issue. But anyway, so the plasma gets stuck to the thing, which screws up their system and then makes them visible again. Then at that point, they basically have no power. And this huge ship comes up from above them. Basically comes, tractor bees them, and brings them on in. And then at this point, we go back over to the Orville, where Kelly and Bortus are talking, and Gordon runs in. I don't even remember what they're talking about right
here. They talked about the new security chief and that they'll be happy.
Security chief's coming next week or something.
When this is where he talks about the sandals.
About the sandals.
Oh yes, and he wears sandals. But anyway, he's got a firm hatred for sandals apparently. Maybe it's because like Bortus's species has terrible looking feet. Maybe that's what it is.
No, I just think they all don't like this guy, and they're just everything about him.
They don't like him. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So then Gordon comes in and he's all like super excited, and he's like, "Oh, I don't want to interrupt." She's like, "Yeah, no, whatever. Come on in." So anyway, he basically says, "I want to be put into the commander program. Like, I want to become a commander." And Kelly has some big reservations about that, but she says, "Okay, yeah, no, we'll give it a try. See how it goes. Go report to Claire for your psych evaluation." And he's like, "Great, you can count on me. Thumbs up." Right. So anyway, and Bortus is like, "He will fail.
He will fail." Yeah.
Gordon's really into like the double like thumbs up and the double where
he does the finger guns and all that. Yeah. He's very, very handsy. So, but anyway, so then we go back over to the big, huge krill ship.
So, just to back on this, Gordon, I just want to understand this whole plot line of him wanting to the command program. Does this just stem from the fact that he has this conversation with Ed earlier on, where Ed's like, "Yeah, I'm dating Janelle now," who I guess Gordon had a crush on when she first showed up, and now he's like, "Well, that's why I can't find somebody, is because I'm not a captain. I got to become a captain." And then
Kelly talks to him later about that, right? And he says, "Well, that's one of the reasons." I'm also bored.
I also I kind of felt like this plot line comes out of nowhere, but then I was just kind of connecting the dots here. Yeah, it must be the earlier.
I think it's a filler plot line to begin with, and I don't remember if it goes any further. I think even at the end of season 3, I think he's still the exact same rank as he was.
Yeah, I know he doesn't go after this.
Yeah.
No.
So I don't think he goes after this, but he tries. But it takes a while. But anyway, back on the krill ship, we see Mercer, and Mercer is obviously in some sort of holding cell. And a whole bunch of krill guys are there, and they're like, "Yeah, we want your command codes." And he's like, "Yeah, no, I'm not going to give you those." And they're like, "Yeah, no, we insist."
They have a krill pain stick.
Yeah, you got the pain stick. He probably stole it from the Klingons or somebody, but anyway, it's fine. And then they show him with, they show Janelle being basically tortured, and he finally gives up the information, or at least they think he does. And he's like, "Yeah, no, don't kill her, blah blah blah. I'll give you the codes." So he gives them the codes, which turned out to not be real codes, but
or so he says.
Or so he says. Who knows? But anyway, so he's like, yeah, fine, I'll give you the damn codes, blah, blah, blah. So then we go back to the Orville, and now we're in the doctor's office where he's getting his psych evaluation. She's like, basically, I can't remember what the name of that test is. Anybody remember what the name of that is? Rorschach, that's it. So she's doing their own kind of Rorschach test. So she brings up the first one, and he's just gross. He's kind of giggly, but a bit grossed out, and he's like, yeah, no, I can't really talk about that. Like, it's inappropriate.
Did you guys find this funny, this scene?
No.
Me either. I didn't laugh.
I think if it was played a little differently, it might have been all right, but it almost seemed like it was just super rushed, and I think they didn't really.
Or if it actually looked like gross things.
Yeah, like that's the other thing. Like, there's not like they could have at least made it so it somewhat resembled something that we would kind of
Okay, so let's do a little test here. Jody, what do you think it looks like?
This
Yes.
to me, it looks like the big red head in the video game Doom. You know that red head that tries to kill you and it shoots out the stuff out of its mouth?
Dave?
That's what it looks like to me.
it's like a women's reproductive system.
Okay.
Jesus
Kevin?
Christ, how did you get to that? But anyway.
Like one of the ants from A Bug's Life.
Oh, I got Shrek.
Yeah, like the bad ants.
I thought Shrek, a blue Shrek. So Dave, we got some issues.
Dave. There's
I just failed this test, didn't I? I'm not going to be a commander.
Okay, so what do we feel about this one, Dave?
It's some kind of alien woman's reproductive system, maybe. I don't know.
Looks like the bottom line on Space Invaders.
I was getting like,
That's what I was gonna say.
Good.
Yeah.
That's melting Horgon.
Melting Horgon. That's also a good answer.
Right.
And then we see this one. So what is this one, Dave?
Blob.
A blob. Okay. Kevin?
I'm not going to say what that is. That actually is gross.
Okay.
Oh, now I'm thinking of something, and I don't like it.
What do you think?
I just a blob. I don't see anything.
I think it's something you'd find on a porn set. So let's move on. All right. Anyway. All right.
But you're right. That scene was like just stupid. It was like uncomfortable. Like the way he comes in giggling, I'm so nervous. Like, you're not going to be nervous.
If they even made these shapes remotely close to something like if they're like phallic or something like that, then the joke might have landed a little bit better.
I think the joke would be better if, like, Claire's not getting it, but the rest of us are in on the joke with Gordon. But instead, we're not in on it really. Like, we're kind of like led to believe that he just has a dirty mind, which isn't that funny to me. So, like,
well, we assume he has a dirty mind. We don't really know what.
We don't really know, but he's not willing to say it out loud, so we're led to believe
he's very embarrassed to say it in front of her. So I'm guessing it's something to do with a female. But anyway, we're back on the Krill ship, and at this point, Mercer's back in it. He's still in the cell, and then we get this familiar face. And this is Talea, and Talea was the sister of one of the guys that was conspiring to kill all the colonists on the Krill ship when him and Gordon were on the Krill ship.
No, her brother was killed in the original Krill attack where they stole that shuttle from the wreckage. Remember? And then
yes, okay, you're right. Absolutely.
Yeah, I had to remind myself of this too because I was like, no, he wasn't there on that in that episode where they were. What was the name? Like Brian and Max or something like that when they were pretending to be Krills.
Yes, yeah. Well, they did come across her though.
They did her. Yeah, she was there. But remember, they're like,
but her brother was already dead. Yeah.
They claimed that they knew her brother on that ship when they met her.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
So anyway, so he obviously recognizes her. And then she kind of lets it known to him that, by the way, that chick that you're really into, she's dead. And the reason why she's dead is because she never existed. And, by the way, it was me. So this
I especially love when she did the voice when she talked like Janelle to him. That was great.
Which is actually played by the same character. So it's the same person that plays both characters. So, which I thought was a good way to do it.
But the voices are so different that you're like,
they are. Yeah. So she obviously throws her voice a bit for the one character versus the other one. But she talks very stoic when she's Tila, where she's obviously talks normal when she's not. But anyway, so, it turns out that this was all just a ruse. This man is devastated at this point, and she's like, yeah, blah blah blah. So they kind of talked. They talk back and forth a little bit. It's pretty much the same old. Like, how could you do this? Blah blah blah. And then the ship gets attacked. And it turns out they're getting attacked by, anybody catch the name of these was?
Oh, they said it a few times.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of these.
Shocktal.
Shatals?
Shocktal.
All right, there we go. But anyway, and they have some pretty good technology by the looks of it, because they're beating the hell out of this ship.
Right.
And they're smaller. So they're way smaller, and they're still beating the hell out of this ship. So obviously they have pretty good technology, and then kind of the ship gets shaken around. Mercer ends up getting her gun, or getting someone's gun anyway. And he basically says, like, take me to the shuttle bay, because he wants his shuttle and he's going to take off. Right. But anyway, so she's like, fine, I'll show you. And she basically starts walking around the ship, to go to the shuttle bay. Turns out they can't get to the shuttle bay, so they got to go somewhere else. They end up going, but during this time, these guys show up. Now, I have to admit, not my favorite aliens in this show.
Orcs.
Yeah, they're
You do,
basically
yeah.
orcs. Like, there's nothing really that special about these aliens. Like, most of the time we get decent, aliens where they have some pretty cool traits to them that we haven't seen before. But
I was more impressed with their guns. That they were just killing Krill left and right, like nothing. Like, it was even knocking them back. Yeah, like Riemann, even. Yeah,
Remans,
very- very close to the Remans, yes. And he's like, orcs versus Remans.
yeah, they're like
All right.
Riemann orcs.
Yeah, basically. Which is funny for a man who doesn't like the show. He sure does watch this one a lot. But anyway,
He's much more than he admits, I think.
yeah, I think so. He's really just he really actually loves Mercer.
No,
His
he doesn't
favorite.
like Mercer. But
No, I know. Anyway, always good to have you, Devin. Anyway, so they end up there's a big corridor fight here. With that, and we had a pretty good little action scene here between the Krill and these guys. They're shooting each other, blah blah blah. And this whole time these two are trying to get away. So they eventually get towards I guess it's an emergency pod kind of thing. So they sit in, this little control thing. Now, I do like how this is laid out compared to what some of these other emergency ship things are. Because, like, in Starfleet, when they add people to the little like pods, they have like 6 seats or something like that. And with that, like, no, it doesn't look like anybody's in charge. Like, it's just like kind of autopilot, and that's the end of it. Whereas she's like, yeah, this thing programs itself to like the best planet for us, and it lands on the dark side of the planet, so that way we have cover and stuff like that. It's like, how the hell did they think of all this stuff? But anyway, it was a good idea. So anyway, we see the pod launch, and it goes towards this planet. Comes into the atmosphere, crashes, and then we get to see basically Mercer wakes up like against a tree. I don't know how he got here. I'm guessing either she dragged him out, because I don't think he would have naturally landed like this on a tree. So I'm guessing she kind of dragged him out while she was like getting all the stuff out. And it turns out like they have like this like huge away kit built in to the ship as well, like with a big duffel bag that you can carry stuff around with and stuff, and weapons and everything. Like, the Krill know how to do an escape pod. Let's put it that way.
They do. I mean, so the whole point is that they got like a transponder or something. They had to go reposition.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the Valley was causing interference or something.
Yeah, the Valley had some sort of order or something. It seems to always be the trope in these things where, we got to get to higher ground because it's the only way we're going to get a signal out. But anyway, so Mercer was like, yeah, fine, we'll go, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah, no, you're coming. You're going to carry this equipment. I'm not carrying it. And he's like, well, this is bullshit. But anyway, that's fine. So anyway, he starts, they start making their way, and they realize that these guys are entering the atmosphere. They can see a couple of their ships come down. So they're like, oh, fuck. Now, if they're looking at this from above, okay, so they see this above them.
Right.
Those guys are on a trajectory where they're going to be hundreds of miles from them when they land.
Yeah,
So,
like it was a little convenient that they could kind of track them, but I think it's more for the audience's benefit than anything,
but it's like, come on, like it would take them a while to find them, because like we don't really get much of an impression on how long they're on this planet, but I'm guessing it's only about 24 hours or so.
yeah,
But he realizes that the sunlight stays for like 23 Earth days or something.
Eventually, but but then she's like, you will carry this thing up to the top of the mountain, and then I will kill you.
And then I will kill you. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I'm so motivated to get to the top of this mountain.
Yeah, at this point, like, why did he bother? He could have just been like, yeah, well, fuck it. You might as well kill me now. There's no point in me walking. All that. But anyway, but what can you do? Anyway, we're back on the Orville. And at this point, we see Gordon is in the big chair, and he's trying to negotiate with a Krill. Did anybody get fooled by this at all?
For half a second.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't get fooled at all.
But as soon as I know it's Gordon,
there's no way Gordon would be the one left in the seat. Like,
No.
that's such a bad idea. And all of the crew looks different, so it's like, yeah.
Because there's a moment before you see Gordon in the chair where like the lieutenant says, "The Krill are hailing, sir," and you're like, "What?"
Yeah, and you're like, who the fuck is this guy, right? It's just some generic guy in the simulation. But anyway, so it turns out this is a simulation, but he's trying to negotiate, and Gordon's trying to put on his kind of charms and stuff like that. This scene didn't really sit with me that well either.
This wasn't funny either.
This wasn't a good Gordon episode, in my opinion.
No.
He was trying, but it wasn't going. It just wasn't clicking. And usually he's fairly funny, so it's.
Yeah, this wasn't that funny to me. I didn't think this dialogue was funny. I was kind of like wanting.
And like some of the poses he has are just terrible. Like I think he's trying to do like a Kirk impression here. But anyway, so then we see, the back door is open after an explosion happens, and then we see Kelly. She does the Spock simulator opening thing.
Yeah. Congratulations, you're dead.
Congratulations, you're dead. Yep. So basically, they stop the simulator, and he's like, oh geez, and she's like, he's like, let's do it again, and she's like, nope, you got to stop. We're not doing any more tonight. Part of being command is knowing when you're done. Basically. So now we're back on the planet again, which I don't know if they ever named, but we'll just call it the planet. So. But anyway, so we see they're still kind of trudging through here. And then they, at this point, I think
this is the part where she was like, "Hey, we watched all those movies together. Did you not like any of those movies?" And
she's like, "I like that Ark one.
I like that Raiders one or the Ark one." He's like, "Oh, Raiders of the Lost Ark." I liked. She likes the Nazi character.
She likes the main Nazi guy.
She found him sympathetic.
I found him sympathetic.
That was funny. That was a
good
funny
line. Yeah, that was a good line. Plus, it puts in Mercer's love for not only Mercer, but McFarlane's love for.
I've enjoyed your company as always, but it appears it is time we said goodbye.
No, that's not true.
That is definitely not it. But anyway.
I just said about it.
Apparently. All right. Anyway, so it turns out that these trackers are on their ass. They kind of hide behind a couple bushes. These trackers are going through. Sorry, the screenshots are terrible because the whole scene is really dark. But anyway, so they wait for them to kind of walk past them. And then they kind of take off and they continue running. Then we go back to the Orville again. At this point, Gordon's talking to this. I don't even know who this is. Have we seen her before?
I don't think so.
No.
I think she's new.
Yeah. She looks kind of like
he's just like, I'm going to be a captain. You want to like
go out with me
together? You want to canoodle?
Like eventually I'm going to be a captain. Yeah. So then
wow.
Kelly actually overhears this and she's like, yeah, so tell me, are you trying to become a captain because you're trying to pick up chicks or what? And he's like, well, thoughts crossed my mind, but I'm kind of bored, And
Lieutenant Dorset is her name, I think.
Lieutenant Dorset. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that was pretty much the end of that. And then we go back to the thing. They end up figuring out that they got to find a cave or something because, daylight's coming. And that's one thing about the Krill. They can't handle the daylight. They're basically space vampires. So at this point, they end up.
But all they need to do is put a jacket over their head. Like that's
turns out that's it. That's it.
That doesn't seem that hard.
Get a burqa and call it a day. Like this is an easy thing to fix. Like,
yeah.
Think of all the times they could have taken over planets by just putting on some clothes.
Right. It's like she's mostly covered. It's just.
They have everything in that escape pod except those helmets they wear in the first episode.
Oh,
right.
Yeah, I totally forgot about those. Yeah.
But
what happens if there's no like breathable planet anywhere? Because she breathes oxygen as well.
Yeah.
So it's like, what if there's no breathable planet? What do they do then? Like
they die.
They die.
Yeah. So there you go. But anyway, the two of them do another, heart-to-heart kind of talk thing. And I can't even remember what the conversation of this is.
I
That's
like
where
this one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's about like the religion and why she hates
Oh.
all,
Yeah.
and like the fact that she's like, you don't have a soul. Even your own scientists think that humans are just another form of animal. Animals don't have souls.
Yeah, and
she-
apparently her god Avis created them just for them to play in this
Yeah.
universe.
He's like, if I believed in Avis, then I would have a soul. She's like, no, that doesn't work. Like, that was my favorite.
But he also went into talking about how sometimes cultures that get space travel become more fundamental.
Right. They get a little bit more insecure about their place in the universe once they find out that they're not the center of it. And that's kind of what he's implying that the Krill have done. We're also told that they weren't as fanatical with their religion before, like they went into space, and that kind of forced them the other direction where they doubled down on their xenophobia and their hatred and everything else.
Interesting political view here in some scenarios, as well as religious view. But and she basically is like, and he's like, well, I'm gonna go to sleep, and she's like, well, lay on your side, and he just kind of looks at her confused, and he's like, so this is where I think canoodling in this universe means something different, because she knows this.
Okay, like Gordon asks Ed if they did it earlier in the episode, right? And he doesn't really directly answer the question.
Well, he doesn't answer the question. He's like, what are we, 12?
Obviously, like this scene implies heavily that they did, and also the baby that they have later also heavily implies that they did. So
that kind of gives it away later.
Right. Spoilers.
Not that we're there yet, but anyway. But basically, she's like, lay on your side so you don't snore.
Well, I mean, when did they have the conversation? Like, where he asked her, "Did you feel anything?" Like we canoodled. That's where he said it.
Yeah, he did say that. That was before they got into the
cave.
That was before they got into the cave, I think.
Okay,
because it was after the Ark comment, I think. But anyway, so she kind of is on guard, kind of thing. Then we have, the sun's now come up, and she's fallen asleep at this point. She's clearly a terrible guard.
But he didn't take the gun from her.
No, she still has the gun. So she thinks that like he's like taking off on her, and that's the end of it. Which technically he could have at this point, because what's she gonna do?
Yeah.
Like,
she can't. She could just put a jacket over her head.
She could, but it apparently didn't occur to her until that point.
She doesn't. Yeah, she doesn't have the jacket, and really only Ed could think of this. So it's not there yet.
So anyway, so he's outside, and the reason why he's outside is because he's trying to. He's calculating this when sundown comes next, and he's figured out that, that sun isn't moving very much. So it's going to be like 23 days before.
A day is 23 days on this planet.
Yeah. So she's like, well, we're just going to have to wait it out. He's like, we don't have rations for that. We got like rations for like a day, basically. So anyway, she's like, yeah, okay. And she threatens him with something. I can't remember what this is. And then he's like, we got to go. And he's like, so he ends up putting his coat on top of her
No,
head.
that's not here. Here, he leaves her there. He says, I'll come back.
I'll come back. That's right.
So either you got to shoot me.
She's like, how can I trust him? Trust you? And he's like, well, you can shoot me now, or I can go do this and come back. Like, she's out of options. She's got nothing here. Like, what's she gonna do, right? So she could try to wait out 23 days and kill him, but what's that gonna do for her? So anyway, he starts hauling ass up this thing, which maybe in fun facts we'll find out where this was shot. I have a suspicion.
California.
I would have a suspicion as to where, but we'll find out. But anyway, so I do like the CG'd rock formations that they put in the background here. Like, some of these are pretty neat. Very phallic, but what can you do? But that gets on the theme of this episode, I guess. So anyway, he ends up, I guess, building this communications array that was in the duffel bag. He turns it on, and it extends out a little bit, and then I have to admit, this was very lackluster. I was like, I expected something a little bit more cool going on this thing. Like, literally, it's a static display with some LEDs, and the LEDs don't mean anything by the looks of it.
It's okay. It's just a thing for him to send a message.
Yeah, I don't know. I just expected more from this, but anyway, whatever. Doesn't really matter. So anyway, he ends up setting it up, and then at that point we go back to the Orville, and and
They get the distress call.
They
It's
get the
Captain
distress call.
Mercer on a krill channel. Okay,
it's on a
set
krill channel, and Kelly's like, "Oh, let's get our ass moving." So they end up setting thing, and they end up going down. He ends up coming back down the hill, and this is where he encounters these guys again. We'll call them the hobgoblins or whatever. The Remans, yeah, we'll call them
orcs.
Yeah, the orcs. So he runs back to the cave, basically tells her what's going on, and he's like, "Yep, no, we got to put a coat on her head." So they put a coat on her head, and they get moving. At this point,
these aliens are chasing her because they have some kind of mandate of never leaving survivors from their attacks.
Yes, this is part of their thing. They no witnesses, nothing.
Right.
So, which means they've already completely decimated that huge.
So the krill are at war with these people, basically, right? And
well, the krill, as far as I can tell, are at war with everybody. Like,
yeah,
there's not too many races that are cool with them by the looks of it.
Right. And the Union never even heard of these people, right? So they don't, like, it must be on the other side of the border or something. And
yeah, basically. So anyway, the Orville end up showing up in this thing. They end up seeing the remnants of this huge krill ship that's been decimated. And they're like, "Yeah, no, that was a krill ship." And Kelly's like, "Yeah, no, you two go down with a shuttle, because shuttles always work out well in this show." But anyway, so
question there too. Like, yes. I thought it was why not send Patrick Warburton, the security chief, on this rundown, right? When you might run into some fighter fire kind of stuff, like you don't know what's going on.
It'd be a good way to get rid of him.
You just shove him out with a shock.
Send out 2 ships, put him in one, and then put the other people in the other.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just Bortus and Malloy.
Yeah, I'm not even sure.
It's hard to be part of a SWAT team in sandals, so he would have to stay on the ship.
And
Isaac's not here in this episode at all, is he?
He is. He's actually on the ship, but he has no speaking lines.
He has no lines. Okay.
Same thing with Norm Macdonald's character. He's not in it at all.
But we don't. Do we see him or?
No, we don't need.
Or what's his name? The engineer, Jay Lamar. Yeah, he's not in this either.
Yeah, he's credited, but he's not actually in the episode. Yeah, we don't even see him in like the background even.
He's only mentioned.
Yeah, he is mentioned though. Yeah. So anyway, we see them and they're running between all these rocks. These guys can now see this. They've figured it out, and at this point, Mercer's like, "Oh shit." And he's like, "Oh, they're coming," and she's like, "Oh well, no, we can't have this now. They already know we're here."
Well, no, she didn't like that he called a Union shuttle. I think she was expecting a krill ship to show up. And
he's like, "Well, these guys are going to help us, right?" So anyway, she's basically like, "Well, I'm going to kill you then, because like I'm not going to go and be tortured on your ship, basically, because I guess that's how it works with everybody else." But what can you do?
It's weird that a species that has space flight wouldn't have umbrella technology.
Right.
Especially when they were allergic to the sun.
Right.
Fucking space vampires, man.
They're very ill prepared, these followers of Avis.
That's true. So anyway, so Mercer returns fire on these guys a couple times. We get a nice little fight going on, and we get the shuttle coming in. They've decided there's no place to land, but that doesn't stop Gordon from finding a way to do it, which of course is just open the back end of the shuttle. And
you gotta hug the donkey.
Hug the donkey, yeah. You gotta. I don't know what they call this, but I guess this is hugging the krill.
This is like kind of backing up. Well, there was that whole thing in the last episode where like can't Gordon save Ed by like sort of scooping him up with the back of the ship, right?
Yeah,
where he was trapped.
Which clearly he can, because in this episode it's right there.
Exactly, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so we now have them getting onto the ship. These guys are still attacking. And they're even attacking them as they're flying off.
So the aliens that were chasing Ed and Talea, like they must have just been a part of like a little shuttle crew that was left behind, because all the other ships are gone, right? Like or they're maybe somewhere else on the planet, maybe still looking for people. Right. I don't know, but either way, I don't even think we see these guys again. At least I don't remember seeing them. I don't remember seeing them again either. But
yeah. But who knows? And then we're back on the Orville now. We're visiting the brig where.
Well, this whole thing where basically Ed says, "I'm going to let her go," and Kelly's like, "You can't do that. You don't have the authorization to do this."
Yeah, they're gonna. The admirals are gonna be mad.
Yeah, you're gonna get court-martialed. He's just.
I like this. This is one of the very few times he is like captainy, right? Because he's like noted. Like it's stern, and he's like, "Yeah, I
he-
get it."
Even though
Doing
he
it anyway.
even though he appreciates what she has to say, he's like, "No, it's my word now. I'm done. This is what we're doing." So anyway, and he lets her go. But this gets into the reason why. Why did he let her go? Did he love her, or is it just for the better of the communication between these two people?
I think this is him trying to like find a bridge, trying to like
This is the olive branch.
Olive branch, and this doesn't work. She just doubles down on her villainy after this, right? So like it's obviously the wrong choice for
At this point we don't know that, but yeah.
I guess it ends up being the wrong choice.
It ends up being the wrong choice,
even though it was a good intention. But well, I don't know. I because she's like just got this religious fanaticism, her lack of any kind of empathy towards non-Krill. I have a hard time sympathizing with her or hoping she'll come
I'm not
around.
sure we're supposed to sympathize with her. I think the character is basically supposed to be essentially a bigot. Like it's like this is a person who absolutely despises every other organism in the world. Like it's like they are superior, nobody else is not.
She did find the Nazis sympathetic, if we will recall.
But the Nazis were sympathetic, which instantly shows you that she's an asshole.
Right. So I'm like she's kind of just like there it's not like, well, we have a difference of culture, and if we just kind of try to look at each other a little differently, then we'll get along. It's like it's more complex than that, and I think that this move is not the right thing. Ultimately.
It's not the right thing, but you understand why he's trying.
Yes, I understand why he's trying.
Because let's be honest, like these guys are the big baddie for the first 2 seasons, and then we get a different baddie in the 3rd season.
And I think Kelly's points are valid. Like she infiltrated our ship. Absolutely. She impersonated people. She got access to our systems.
Why are you letting her go? Yeah.
If anything, like this is a huge intelligence breach, like to allow her to go back and be debriefed and whatever. So
So what can you do? But anyway, it's at this point he's like, yeah, no, we're signaling your ship to come pick you up. So the next we see the bridge and we see another Krill ship show up, and I think Gordon says something along the lines of like, it's weird to see them when they're not firing at you or something like that. Like, so anyway, they end up escorting her down. I like the touch that, which I didn't get a screenshot of, but the guys who are running the shuttle bay, they turn down the lights. I thought that was kind of neat that they did that. Because they really didn't have to, but it's it was kind of cool that they did it, so that was neat. But anyway, so the pod doors open and there's one of the little shuttles coming in. These shuttles are really ugly. I I guess they're supposed to be kind of a mini version of their big ships, but I don't know. I just find them kind of weird looking and ugly. But I like the back end of them.
The back end's great.
I just think the front
better
looks
than
stupid. Yeah. But anyway, what can you do? So then we see 3 Krill soldiers come out. I like that they come out with guns in hand and they're all ready to go, which is good as well. I also like the fact that if you notice, even the Union does that, which is good, which is something that we don't see in Star Trek very often. We don't see these guys running around with pulse rifles sitting around, waiting. When they're escorting people, they just kind of escort them and then
they wait for them to get away.
Oh, that's right. And then they pull out the guns. That's right. I forgot. But anyway, so we end up seeing, and she says something here. I don't remember exactly what it was. Anybody else?
She says, if you think this is going to, to bring our people together, you're mistaken. Like it's not going to happen.
Which at this point, Mercer should be kind of questioning what he's doing here, because she's completely being honest. She's like, this is not going to do anything.
Yeah, that's why I think this move is dumb. Like, I think that
it is a dumb move.
Misguided at best,
it's definitely misguided. And then he does the whole, well, maybe we can come together, blah, blah, blah. And then he gives her, I guess it's a USB stick or something equivalent to it. Basically, it's the best of who is it? Best of
Billy Joel.
Billy Joel, that's right.
Yeah. All right, Billy Joel comes up a few times in this episode. At least I know who Billy Joel is one of his.
At least I know who Billy Joel is.
And then but this is where it gets a little sappy, because And I don't believe he's doing it for the good of the union. I think he's doing it for love.
Yeah, this is where it makes me think that he's doing it for her and not for.
Yeah,
I think it's
always a
also
woman to me, right? I mean,
it's guilt from when he infiltrated her ship, and I think
Yes.
he kind of looks at her infiltration as sort of a she kind of just did back to me, so now we're even.
Getting even. Yeah.
Now we're even.
now.
Let's try to find peace, but she's like, no, like
Yeah. Now look at the cannon that those guys are holding.
Yeah.
Like that looks like a cannon, man. Like what? I wonder what they shoot like. But anyway. So anyway, the shuttle leaves. Ends up going back to its base. It's mothership, I guess. And then at this point, they sit down. I don't even remember what he says during this conversation. Oh, look, there's Lamar. He
He says nothing. All you hear is Billy Joel singing "She's Always a Woman to Me" at this point.
Oh, that's right. Which I guess further proves that he did do it for her.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that song, they picked the song. Come on.
Yeah, that song is definitely kind of a giveaway. And I will say the way they animated these guys going into warp is so damn fast I couldn't even get a screenshot of it. So anyway, they warp and they're gone. And that's the end of the episode. So I guess the question is though, guys. Oh, let's remove this first. The real question is though, did we have fun or do we need more fun in our lives?
I need more fun.
All right, more fun it is. It's fun facts with Adam. Fun facts with Adam.
Love it. This is great.
I even got the secondary in there. That was pretty sweet.
Kevin, I want a triple next week. Okay.
Work on your falsetto.
If you don't do it, I will. All right. Jody, the forest scenes were shot at the Walt Disney Studios Golden Oak Ranch near Newhall, California.
Oh, okay.
It's the same location of the bioship's interior ecosystem in If the Stars Should Appear. Okay. I got lots here. Whoop. Oh, look, I wasn't ready as I thought I was. Okay, so this is the first on this day when they were when this episode aired, Adrian Pilecki and Scott Grimes announced their engagement.
Ah, yes, their short-lived marriage.
Their short-lived marriage, yeah. The hard shell of the krill backpack Ed uses is actually called Boboli, Boboli. And I just, oh my goodness, everything's flying around here. A backpack brand from Sweden.
Oh,
yes.
I wouldn't have got that.
Dave, you didn't talk about the uniform tonight. This is the first episode for the new ship's profession badges that don't appear as flat and all the same silver gray colors.
On the Union officers or
yes.
the Union? I didn't notice a difference.
Do we have a screenshot of anybody in uniform?
Hold on.
Well, there was the
one, you're right. Okay.
The one science officer that he was dating, like talking to in the mess hall. Yeah, I guess they are a little bit shinier, aren't they? And they're
not a flat badge. They're
actually like on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we like this better? I don't know.
I don't think any of us noticed. So
I didn't notice, so therefore it couldn't have been that great. Just saying.
Okay.
Okay, the Krill fighters are said to be venting drive plasma to create a smoke screen to detect the cloaked shuttle. Venting drive plasma was something the Enterprise D did on Star Trek Next Generation, usually when the warp core was damaged and threatening to breach.
Apparently, they have many uses for drive plasma.
Well, I'm surprised Data never thought of this one. Ed's command code includes the number 42, which is a reference to Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker Guide to the Galaxy. The episode titled "Nothing Left for Earth Excepting Fishes" is similar to the Hitchhiker's book installment. So long and thanks for all the fish. Yes, thank you. Features a second modification to the opening title sequence when Jay Lee's credit changed from Lieutenant John Lamar to Lieutenant Commander John Lamar. In this case, Halston Stage has also been removed because she left the show in home. The opening sequence will be only used once as Jessica Zor is added as Lieutenant Tala Keali in All the World is a Birthday Cake next week. This also has a credit to Chad Coleman, who plays Clyden, but he does not appear. This may imply the existence of an unreleased, deleted scene.
I think there's a couple in this episode. There's a couple of kind of harsh cuts in the episode.
And now, Kevin, I've saved this one for you because it's long and it's about the king and I.
Okay.
Are you ready? Okay.
I'm ready.
So the episode's title, "Nothing Left on Earth Excepting Fishes," is a line from the song "A Puzzlement," sung by Yul Brynner from the American musical film "The King and I," where the king ponders how the world has changed and how he's going to teach his oldest son, the heir to the throne, about how the world works. Should he do it in the traditional way before the outsiders came, or follow the new outsider way of thinking in society with its confusing new ways? It goes like, "Shall I join with the other nations in alliance? If allies are weak, am I not best alone? If allies are strong, will the power protect me? Might they not protect me all on my own?" So now that you heard that, it sort of brings more interest to the episode for me anyway. But I don't know this.
Yeah.
And anyway. Long and short, is a danger to be trusting one another. One will seldom want to do what other one's wishes, but unless someday somebody trusts somebody, there's nothing left to trust nothing left on earth excepting fishes.
But what does that mean?
Well, I think the last line is kind of honestly nonsense, but
Accepting fishes.
they're just saying accept fishes.
Only
Supposed to be
fishes will be
accept
left
fishes.
alive. Everyone else will be dead. Is that why?
Yeah.
Okay.
Essentially. Yeah.
The shirt that Ed wears is a similar style to the off-duty Captain Kirk shirt worn in Star Trek III, The Search for Spock,
Oh yeah, because it's got that kind of frilly thing going on,
but in a blue color. Yeah.
like the lapping.
Gordon's bluff during the command simulation about a new weapon that reflects an attack back upon the attacker is an homage to Captain Kirk's identical bluff in the Carbonite maneuver in 1966.
Yeah, we got a great new weapon.
Yep.
The photonic cannon.
This is Tranya. I hope you treasure it as much as I. I love that fucking episode.
Yeah.
It is a good episode.
Clint Howard.
And then finally, the character of Janelle Tyler resembles a theme of the first season of Star Trek Discovery involving a man named Ash Tyler.
Right. Oh, yeah. Also a Tyler.
Yes.
Yes. Also a surgically altered infiltrator sort of thing. Yep. Well,
Is that it for fun facts?
that's it.
That's it for fun facts.
I'm not sure if they were fun, but they were facts. Thank you, Adam.
Oh,
All right.
Fun facts with Adam.
Any details with Dave?
Nope.
Nope.
I've discovered nothing.
He's discovered nothing, and that's all there is to it. All right. So let's get into our ratings, gentlemen. Oh, what did I do? I did something wrong here. All right. Is that big enough, guys? Do we think? Yeah, it's big enough. All right.
If you hit F11, it will go.
Oh, do I? Okay, let's do that then. Oh, look at that, Dave. That's
If you hold on control and then use your mouse wheel, it will zoom in.
Oh
Yep.
boy, that is very. See, this is why you're the Excel master. All right. Anyway, I have no idea where my cursor is. All right, there we go. Adam, what are you rating this episode?
Can I call down last week's a bit because to a 7.5?
Sure, you can. Oh, Dave, are you doing this or am I? I guess.
Yeah, you got it.
All right, 7.5. You wanted
And then I'm going to give this an 8.5.
8.5. Okay.
I like this episode. I really did.
All right.
I don't like the title though. I don't like the title. The title bothers me.
Nothing left on Earth excepting fishes.
Accepting bothers me.
Yeah,
But-
it's going to be except the fishes
Yep, that would have been
Or
better.
accept the fishes.
or
But-
accept fishes.
But because it's the King and I, it's the line in the King and I. So
Yeah.
Or is this to make it rhyme with the lyric before? Is that why?
No.
No.
Okay. Then on that, with that information in hand,
that is now changing everything.
I don't know. For me, it's like a 7. It's or 7.5. I'll go 7.5 on it. Like it's okay. I don't hate it. I would watch it again, but it's not like the best episode either. It's like it's a good one.
All right, Kevin.
Same. It's a 7.5. If it didn't have any of the Gordon stuff, it would be higher. That really brings it down.
It
It's
didn't
all
really
bad
need it. It didn't need it.
at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I feel like, yeah, this would be like a 9 maybe if it was just that storyline. But because the Gordon
Right.
stuff takes you out of it, the jokes in that storyline don't work.
Don't work at all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the bad guy this week because I actually didn't like this that much. I'm gonna give it a 6.5, which puts it at here, Dave. You do that stuff so I don't mess up your stuff here.
7.5 we're averaging.
7.5 average. So, well, there you go. So, and IMDb had this as an 8.2.
Yeah.
Which gives us a combined average of 7.9. So there you go. So that pretty much sums up that one. But the good news is next week we'll have another episode.
What's next, Jody?
Oh, see, now I thought you were going to ask me, Dave. And of course, that is All the World is Birthday Cake.
We get a new security chief that we actually like. Or I like.
Security chief that I absolutely love. I love her character in this.
Yeah,
the Orville makes first contact. A new crew member also joins the ship. So this one is where they go on that kind of the Earth. It's like kind of like an Earth, same idea. The thing that's interesting about this one is the man himself, Robert Duncan McNeil, actually directs this next episode. So,
Tom Paris?
Tom Paris himself. So there you go.
Wow. Impressive.
So I know that makes you all excited. I can just tell by how you're all talking right now. You're all very excited.
So what's the episode called?
It is called All the World is Birthday Cake.
Oh.
Hear this, Picard, and reflect. All the galaxy is a stage. World, not galaxy. All the world's a stage.
Well, might be another Star
Little
Trek.
off, but it was a nice thing to addition anyway. But
All the World's a Birthday Cake.
speaking of Picard, I believe he's in tomorrow's episode that's being streamed here on Live Long and Podcast.
Right, you are, Jody. We will be covering yet another episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation's first season. Tomorrow, our episode is Coming of Age, episode 19 from that season. On the panel, we got Chris Worldmind Murphy, the inimitable Kevin Millard, and Adam Woodward as well.
The two you guys got to represent.
Yes.
So
And
this is the first time
I
Chris has
don't
been
even-
back in a long time, right? Like we haven't seen him in some time. I haven't seen
Chris had an injury, so
Yeah, so-
he probably still is dealing with
He's
it.
been licking his wounds somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's supposed to be on with us tomorrow because Jaemeel was originally supposed to be on the panel, but he's going to be on X-Rated with Davin, covering
Which is another
X-
show on the network. That is
yeah.
the United Federation of Podcasts.
Yeah, he's doing the X-Debated X-Men debate show tomorrow. So look out for that.
Yeah, I think it's a debate show about the X-Men animated show
Correct.
or something like that.
Something like it's kind of like when we do the debate 9 here on Live Long, but an X-Men version of that,
Cool.
or an X-Men cartoon, more specifically version of that.
What else you got going on, Dave?
What else? We just had Star Trek Radio Theater on Saturday night. You go listen to that if you haven't already.
I haven't yet. I'm going to though.
We had a great time. We had newcomer Justin Velociraptor come in and play
Yes.
Geordie LaForge with us in this one. He'll be joining the crew in the near future. He was on a TNG podcast as well. So,
Great voice. Great voice.
Yeah, he was.
I
he
think
was
he'll
doing really-
actually be joining us as well.
Yeah, he's going to be in for this Orville, and apparently he's watching it for the first time. So it'll be interesting.
It'd be
to
nice
see,
to get a nice thing for him.
Yeah. I think Lower Decks is coming up this fall sometime. Whenever that new season drops, we'll be talking about that and all the stuff we did this year. Like we did Prodigy, we did Strange New Worlds, Discovery.
You don't just have to watch live. You can watch all the back catalog on YouTube and various other
Tons.
streaming platforms.
Yeah. If it's Star Trek related or adjacent, we've probably talked about it at some point, or will be.
Exactly.
So don't you dare miss it. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe and ring that bell to get
Ring that
notified.
bell.
Ring that bell. You smack the hell out of that bell.
Yeah.
You smack it like you're making canoodling.
Yeah.
stuff.
Like
You canoodle that bell.
You can noodle that bell. Dong.
Dong. All right. Anyway. Well, unless anybody else has anything else to say, Kevin definitely has things to say, but he'll probably say when we're off the air. Anybody have any final thoughts here?
No, I like the Orville, but I'm really excited for the stuff that's coming later on in this season. So it's going. I feel like it's a build up.
Season 3 is my favorite. So I guess we're kind of getting into where I really like the characters as they are now. So like we get the new security chief, which is a really good addition in my opinion. I like how she plays off the other people.
She's much stronger than Alara was.
Well, and she's more confident as well. Like
Yes.
you don't have all the stories of her not being able to do something. It's like,
Right.
this girl just goes in and she doesn't care. Like she just does it. She doesn't care. So actually, I don't even think there really is a flaw with her as far as I know, that I can think of storyline wise for her. But anyway, doesn't
Now
matter.
you sound like Alara's dad.
Yeah, Ricardo.
Never be good enough. Never be good
Yeah.
enough. But anyway,
I would agree with that guy. He was too young. Bad promotion choice.
Go back and get your degree. What are you waiting
Go back,
for?
get it. Yeah, you got to have something to fall back on when this whole security chief on a Union ship doesn't work out for you.
Mhm.
All right.
Exactly.
Or when your bones are starting to decompress to the point that you're going to die. You got to have something to fall back on. So anyway, maybe she's slinging burgers at the McDonald's on whatever that planet's called. Alara?
Leia.
Alea.
Soleil.
Soleil, that's it. There we go. Anyway, I think that's all we have for tonight, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Live long and podcast.
See you next time.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. Tune in to X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. Artistic interviews with graphic histories. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And movie reviews with Hold Up, a movie podcast. And while you're at it, spin a few records with Eamon on Track. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.